Hi and welcome to a new episode of Sparks by VinoVonk. My name is Jeroen Vonk. I'm your host today. We're inspired by wine and we're inviting people to tell their inspiring stories. And today we're going to Hungary. And we're not going to Turkey. We're not talking about sweet wines. We're talking about dry, natural wines. And my guest today is Oliver Weingartner. Hi, Oliver.
Hi guys.
Very nice to meet you. I received two of your wines from Mac Wines, a wine shop in the Netherlands. So shout out to Mac Wines for sponsoring this show with these two wines. But first of all, Oliver, how are you doing today?
Yeah, thank you. It's a really harsh time in the vineyards, and yeah, I'm glad that we find a good opportunity to make this podcast with you. And thank you for your invitation.
I'm very glad and honored that you want to be my guest. I see you have 4 hectares of vineyards and you make natural wines, but we're not in Tokai. Everybody knows Tokai in Hungary, but where are you located?
Yeah, this is the middle of Hungary, 40 kilometers from the Lake Balaton. Maybe you heard about Balaton. It's a very famous tourist lake in Hungary, also with some wine regions next to the lake. We are just half an hour from the lake on the north side. And yeah, Somló is one, yeah, every winemaker says the same, but I think it's one of the famous wine region in the world.
So you're located in Somló. I would be honest, I never heard of it. I didn't learn it during my WSET or any other tastings or something. So I'm very curious about the wines. We have 2 wines. We have a Furmint. Well, I know Furmint, but we have also another variety, Juhfark. Am I pronouncing it correctly? Juhfark?
Yeah, it was perfect. It was perfect.
I never heard of it also. But what kind of wines do you make?
Yeah, normally, I'm saying that I'm doing 2 kind of wines. Somló wines, like these 2, Furmint and Juhfark, and Olaf Riesling, this is Welsh Riesling, and some other Hungarian varieties. They are like classical volcanic wines, because Somló is an extinct volcano. And I have some other wines, a little bit like this hipster style, orange wines, pet nuts. So this 2 style is separated with the labels as well. Yeah, but normally no sweet wine, because natural wines are not working with sweet wine.
No. So you say you have volcanic soils?
Yeah, exactly. Somló is one of the spot on the world with the most mineralic, with the most basalt. Do you know what is basalt? This is a
Yeah,
stone.
basalt, yeah.
This is the kind of the stone what is on the hill. It's really, really everywhere in the hill, and it's so much minerality, so much saltiness in the soil that in a Somló wine, the terroir is so strong with this volcanic soil that after a couple of years, each wine, doesn't matter what kind of variety you have, the terroir will taking the wheel of the wine, and sometimes you can't say what kind of wine you are drinking. This is just a Somló terroir wine. Yeah,
So it doesn't matter what kind of grape variety you use.
of
It's just a
course,
Somló
of
wine.
course. Yeah, after 5 years, the terroir takes everything over. And normally, when it's a good wine, then it's after 5-6 years. This is just a Somló terroir wine. Yeah.
So you have different kind of varieties, but how do you make the wines? Because yeah, I understand. Okay, you make it naturally, but you grow it organically. Is the conditions okay there?
Yeah, everything, of course, is perfect for us. The climate change, of course, is not helping, like any other winemakers, the same situation. So the climate change is not good. But we are on the north side of the hill. So our place, our spot on the hill, we are on the north side. So this is something, I think, it's helping us. On the south side, the acidity, the acid levels in the grapes, in a hot summer, yeah, it's not working so good. But on the north side, it's better. Uh, Somló was really known about the high acidities, the high alcohols before, like 10, 20, 30 years before. with the climate change, it's changing. So of course, as you can see on the black labels, that the alcohol is not at the lowest. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
13.5.
yeah, but it's not. It's a normal Somló wine. This is the lowest alcohol on the hill, I think, with natural wines. Yeah. So Somló, basalt, minerality, saltiness, and terroir. That's all about Somló. Maybe it's just a story about Somló. Like centuries before, there was just two wine regions which could export wines like to France, to England. It was Tokaj and Somló. Tokaj because of the sugar level, sweet wines, and this method making asu sweet wines made the good conservation for the traveling. And Somló wines with the high alcohol and high acidity made the same situation. So it was a nice protection for the long way to exporting wines. With horses and with in this time. And one of the story, another part of the story that the French princess was drinking Somló wines because in a legend from when somebody drinking Somló wines from Somló that makes easier to be pregnant. Yeah, it's just a legend. But I have two
Well,
kids too. I have two kids, so I can't say anything else.
well, it kind of worked.
Yeah, it works.
Yeah. And how do you make the wines? Is it with spontaneous fermentation? Do you
Of
in
course.
stainless steel, in wood?
So I would say I am more like a vineyardman, more like a cellarman. So I like to be in the vineyards. For me, it's much more interesting and much more important that we can produce 100% healthy grapes, and with these healthy grapes, we can produce like this easy the natural wines. So we are really giving 100% energy for producing nice grapes in the vineyard. And after that, it's really easy, like whole bunch pressing with this classical wines like Furmint and Juhfark is whole bunch pressed. This is like a classical pneumatic air press. See, 3 hours we are pressing the grapes. The juice is going in the cellar. We are doing one night this settling. So we settle the juice. We are separating from the first sediments, and after that the fermentation normally starts in a steel tank, spontaneous. And after 2 weeks, when the fermentation is almost over, we're just pumping the wines in barrel and in porous tanks. So the fermentation ends with fine lees together in the barrels and in the porous tanks. We are using some new technology like this porous breathable tanks from the USA and from Australia. This is not like a kind of new things in the winemaking. It's not the most authentic, but it's working. Yeah.
If it
So
works, it's okay.
yeah, it's working. It's the modern amphora, I say. But it's not cheaper, but it's easier to take care of the quality. And so the fermentation ends in the barrels or in these tanks with a fine lees, and we are just leaving the wines for 8, 9, 10 months with fine lees till the next harvest. So we are bottling the wines in the next year, July. That's all with the
And you
winemaking
don't
process.
and you don't filter or remove any sediments.
What does it mean removing? So with the first pumping during the fermentation, we just leaving the harsh lees in the tanks, and we are pumping just the fine lees to the barrels. And after 10 months, this fine lees is settling down on the barrels, and most of these lees we are leaving in the barrel. So the wine is crystal clear after 10 months, but we have to give some lees back in the wines because we are using just a little bit sulfur just at the bottling. But this sulfur level would be not enough for protecting the wines. That's why we are just giving some lees back to the wines before the bottling. but not everything. So that's what is the process.
Sounds perfect. And very interesting also because a lot of times you hear, okay, we do spontaneous fermentation, but we make our own starters, and after a couple of hours we use other starter, and you're saying, okay, we do it with real spontaneous fermentation. That's very interesting to hear.
Yeah, because the nature is working alone, so we don't have to use any this stuffs. Yeah. I would say natural winemaking is for the lazy winemakers because really you don't have to think about buying something, added stuffs, starters, as you said. Other winemakers, these technology winemakers, the classic winemakers, would I say? From February they are filtering, pumping from here, pumping there. I don't know, fining, filtering, doing stuffs in the cellar. For us, it's really easy because after the harvest, after the fermentation, 10 months in the barrel. And of course, we are checking the quality. We are sometimes once in a month, we are just checking the quality. We are checking the wines. But when normally it's everything okay, then we have time with the bottling. And of course, for a classic Somló wine needs time in a barrel, needs time in a tank. So it's not that easy style wines from the hill.
Because the acidity is very harsh, and a lot of salinity and minerality, saltiness.
Yes, so classic Somló wine is not the easiest wine. The Somló wine is sit on the table with a couple of friends, and it's good for deep conversations, or you can or you can sit alone and just drinking and thinking. But it's not that they are not that party wines at all.
I'm very curious. Let's start tasting some wines. Which wine do you want to start with, the Juhfark or with Furmint?
Yeah, I think with the Juhfark, but it's a good question in this case because, as I said to you before the recording, I have the very last bottles from this wines. I was looking for this vintage like 1 hour in the cellar, and natural wines are changing really really fast. So I think I didn't check this vintage, like I don't know, 4 5 months from now. So maybe for me it will be a nice stuff. I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's check the Juhfark first.
Because your wines are very popular in the Netherlands also. A very famous restaurant, Nazca in Amsterdam, is Peruvian style, serves these wines and pair it also with their dishes because the wines can compare with the complexity of their dishes. The sommelier told me, and he wants more, but yeah, it's sold out.
Yeah, 22 is all out. I just sent it last week to Magwin and the new vintage. So hopefully we'll have a new vintage in Netherlands.
Yeah. Now, I already poured them because I didn't want to make any mistakes. And I love the label also. It's very nice. In the Netherlands we say proost. And what do you say in Hungary?
It's not easy. It says egészségedre.
It's like you already had too much.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, a lot of apples and pear juice, but also a lot melon and a lot of fresh herbs like parsley and basil.
Honestly, I'm not that good to describe the wines, but I really enjoy to her.
Yeah. And I love the color. It's like a medium golden yellow. It's very interesting. Let's taste it. Oh, indeed, it's very salty, but it's not too much. And a lot of fruit flavors, but also a lot of dry fruits because of the bottle aging. Because now it's 2025, it's vintage 2022.
Yeah.
But it's very round, very complex. And the aftertaste is very long. I still can taste it. It tastes a lot of fruit. Very nice. I understand why it's so popular.
Thank you. About this variety, just a couple words. Juhfark it belongs to Somló. So in Hungary, every wine region has kind of an own variety, and this variety belongs to this hill, Somló. It's not easy to make wines from Juhfark. Juhfark has a meaning. Ju, it means sheep, and fork, it means tail. So this is the tail of the sheep. It means when the grapes are close to the ripeness, the edge of the grapes makes a little bit like this curve, and it's kind of with the sheep of the tail of the sheep. So yeah, that's the meaning. But it's not easy to making wine with Juhfark. I can remember this vintage. As always, the Juhfark in the barrels stopping the fermentation after 3 weeks with a lot of rest sugar, then starting again, then stopping and starting. And this flavor, what you feel is, I would say, this roasty taste. It comes from this 3-4 times re-fermentation. Yeah, it's the Juhfark is it's not easy in the cellar. It makes some interesting moments because with natural wines you have to be sure that all of the sugar is going for close to zero.
Yeah. And how was your experience? Because you didn't taste it like 4 or 5 months. And
Yeah,
how do you like it now?
yeah, it's really nice, and it's a shame that it's sold out. I should start the selling with these wines now in this moment.
Yeah. So we're drinking it in a better drinking window than you had already drink it.
Yeah. So there are some older winemakers from the hill, and they saying drinking Somló wines like too young, like 1, 2, 3 years old wines. It's worse for like the pedophilia, So they saying you have to wait with the wines because it's too early with the drinking Somló wines. So they saying at least 3 years, but better 4 or 5 years waiting with the wines.
Yeah. Yeah. But when you start making wine, you have to earn money. You can't
Yes.
afford it to don't sell anything. Maybe after a couple of years, maybe you can keep like half of it, but then you have to store it, and then you need to have the space for it.
Yeah, that's not easy. Of course, when someone wants the wines, then yeah. Of
Yeah.
course, I could keep it back. No, I don't want to sell to sell the wine. Sorry, I have to wait 1, 2 years more. It's not working, of course. Uh, with this vintage, like the last vintage with 24, we are just doing this kind of stuff. I mean, we just started to show the 23 wines right now. The 24 are in the barrels, so yeah, we will try to make it a little bit more to aging the wines because drinking too young from low wines is really not the best.
No, you're not drinking it in the full potential. You have to drink it in when it's full blown also.
Yeah, but who's who's so who has to make the aging, the winemaker or the buyer or the restaurants? They have. So it's not easy because a really good restaurants who the sommelier sees the potential and they are buying it and they are just putting in the cellar and waiting 2, 3 years. But it's in these times, it's not working. We are living like fast, and when at this moment when someone likes the wine, then we are selling it, and the next couple of weeks they are the customers drinking it. So
Yeah, because customers go to the wine shops,
yeah,
buy them online. When they get it, maybe the same day, maybe the same couple of weeks, they drink it. Almost nobody buys wine. Okay, I buy it for over a couple of years.
yeah, it's it's really rare.
Yeah,
Maybe it's not like you, I mean, but when someone likes this wine, I buy it both online and okay, this is a good wine. I will buy 2 bottles more that, but they don't want to age it, just drink it the next week.
Yeah. Shall we go to the second one?
Yep.
This is the Furmint. Also, again, the same great label. Is this the same shape of your vines?
Yeah, I like the old wines, and we had before this old bush wines on the hill. And as you can see, the U and the O in the in the
Yeah. With some imagination, you could also see somebody dancing.
oh, yes.
But yeah, and again, very nice color.
Yeah.
Proost or
Proost. Egészségedre.
It's typically ferment for me in the nose, but with a lot of structure, very full-bodied. And it's also a little bit like when a wine is from a terroir that has a lot of lus and limestone, you get these kind of clayish and vibes.
Exactly. You are saying it good because this parcel, Furmint, is not really on basalt. This is more like a little bit less clay mixing with bronze forest soil.
Oh, that is very nice. It's very complex. The acidity isn't too high. It's very soft in your mouth. And the fruit flavors are very concentrated. Fresh fruit, dried fruit, also a lot of dried apricots. It's very nice. Also a lot of peach and nectarine.
Yeah.
But also some cherries, herbs.
For me,
nice.
the apricot and the peaches, it's really good.
Oh,
it's sold out
very good.
this Furmint is sold out the same. The last 200 bottles was just, I don't know, 1 month ago, exported to Belgium. And the last week I just heard a good news from these wines that 2 Michelin-star restaurants wants it, like, you know, with food pairing with some fried alga and yeah, yeah, stuff what, you know, I'm so glad that our wines like this Furmint, but which is really the best known Hungarian variety, I think, the Furmint. We can show the Hungarian varieties in like this restaurant in Belgium or in the Netherlands. So it's a really good wood.
Yeah, I hope your wines aren't getting too popular because consumers also want to buy it. But it's very good sign that your wines are has a lot of complexity and a lot of body that could stand on the fine dining side. Like Nazca is also about fine dining, but it's very high intensity in flavors, a lot of spices, a lot of herbs. Then you have to stand with a good wine, otherwise, otherwise your wine is getting lost, and you have to build a bridge between the dish and the wine.
Yeah, but these wines, these two, they are perfect to food pairing, I think. This spiciness, this saltiness, this minerality is perfect to food pairing.
Yeah, oh, I love it. And could you tell me something about the vintage 2024? Because like in France, in the Netherlands, in Belgium, it was a very bad year. A lot of wineries lost a lot of their yields. And how was it in Somló?
It was not easy. As I heard it from other winemakers, older ones, it was the vintage what was the earliest in the last, I don't know, 100 years. We started, it was so hot the summer. Yeah, we started the harvest middle of August and we ended the harvest the 3rd of September. So, you know, Somló was known about the harvest was like, I don't know, middle of October, end of October, like 10 years before. And now we are doing like 2 months earlier. You know, this is crazy. Yeah, actually the vegetation started too early last year. February was really too warm. It was too hot and there was no frost in Hungary and the vegetation just went through. So we knew that the harvest will be so early, but we didn't know that so early. So middle of September, we was ready with the harvest, everything, you know, the fermentation ended with the end of September. And in October, we were just looking, okay, what should we do now? Because in this time, normally we are harvesting. What's now? Yeah.
Yeah, early vacation maybe.
Yeah, yeah.
And how was the winter? Because the winter in Europe was colder than, well, normally, but
I heard that in France and in Belgium the summer was other. In Hungary it was really hot, but as I heard that in France and in Belgium it was not so dry. And
no, it
the
rains a lot.
September in September there was a lot of rain. So as I know, this was like a classic vintage for France or for Belgium. Hungary was totally dry, totally hot. The winters were catastrophic because there is not so cold. So there is not so much snow like 10 years before. There is not so much, you know, we have we have to think about irrigations in the vineyards because there is no snow in the winter. Then there is no raining in the March, in the April. So yeah, it's not easy. The last 3 years was really like too hot, too dry, no rains. Yeah. 24 was the first year when it was so hot and so dry that we had in the before the 2 weeks before the harvest we had to cut the grapes on the floor because it was the hmm, the grapes was dying and we had to save the wines, because the leaves was getting yellow. There was no water in the soil, and we had to save the wine. So we just cut the grapes down to save the vineyards.
Yeah, because the grapes use a lot of energy
Yes,
during.
yes, yes. So 24 was not so easy in Hungary.
And how are the vineyards looking now?
This year looks now like a classic vintage. It is perfect right now. Of course, the grass is growing, so there's so much work in the vineyards. Right now we are putting new plants in the between the rows, so making the dead plants with new ones again. Yeah, we are bottling, we are packing some pallets for export. Yeah,
Busy
interesting
times.
time. Yeah,
Yeah,
please.
busy times.
Yeah, busy times, busy
Yeah.
times.
And how do you see the future? Because now you have 4 hectares and you're doing it mostly by yourself.
Yeah, so we have 4 hectares, but I am an advisor for other wineries as well. Only bio, so only ecological work. And from this vineyards, I'm doing some good stuff. So I'm just getting grapes from these vineyards, some other varieties. So we are producing like 24,000 bottles a year. Yeah, the future, this 4 hectare right now, it's enough. The market is not the best right now, so the export is really quiet. Like 2 years before, the importers was grabbing for the wines. Right now, it's really slowly. Yeah, everybody's quiet, and yeah, we can feel the things from the USA as well. This bad news, good news.
Yeah. But it could be good news. Just buy a lot of these wines because they get better over the years. So buy it now, then you have very good wines a little bit later.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's a good idea. It's a good
Yeah.
idea.
We're going to spread that news. And what do you think about the future of wine from Hungary? Because nowadays more and more dry wines can come from Hungary, also a lot of in the Netherlands.
Yeah, there are a couple of wine regions in Hungary who are which are able to make a good export, like Somló, Tokaj, Mátra, Mór, and Badacsony here in where we are living with the family. In the future of the Hungarian winemaking, I think is in the variety. That means in the white wines we have to think in Furmint, in the red we have to think in Hungarian varieties like Kékfrankos and Kadarka. With this varieties, we can show the character of the Hungarian wines and Hungarian wine regions like Somló. Yeah, but Central European wines are getting stronger, like 10 years ago in Poland, there was no winemaking in Poland. And now they are just, with the climate change, this level is just going higher. So there are a lot of Polish winemakers as well. It's interesting what is happening right now in the world with the winemaking.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Also, a lot of winemakers are starting now more working organically.
Yeah.
Also, a lot of biodynamically, because everybody wants to, if they're drinking, they want to drink it more responsible, more healthy. And yeah, if you work organically, it's more healthy than conventional. You could say that. Well, alcohol isn't good for your life, but you have to drink it a small portions, not 2 bottles a day per person.
Yes, of course. So this kind of wines, what we are producing, these are not for the people who wants to drink 3 bottles a day, but they can if they want. Of course, responsibility is really matters.
Yeah, but drink less, but drink better. And if you want to have a new experience, very nice experience, go for these kinds of wines because it's new, it's indigenous. You have an experience from a country that you don't know. It's an adventure, and it's a very nice adventure.
Thank you very much.
Oliver, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for the invitation.
I hope to drink more of your wines in the future. Mark Wines, again, thank you for sponsoring the show. If you want to find the shop, it's in the show notes. I will also add a link where you can contact Oliver if you want to buy his wines, if you want to import them, because it's a little bit quiet now, but it's getting busier now. So Oliver, have a good vintage in 2025. Looking forward to tasting 23, 24. Well,
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And if someone wants to meet me and taste some wines that we can taste together, end of May there will be a natural wine fest in Amsterdam. So I will be pouring the wines there and come and taste some Hungarian wines.
You find the link in the show notes.
Yeah. Thank you.
And I will be there also because I want to meet you in person, of course. That's about a real conversation, not too strict prepared. That's what I do. Thank you very much. And join me the next time in a new episode of Sparked by VinoVonk. Have a nice day.
Have a nice day. Ciao.